What up, though, everybody? This is Kyle, and if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the great content. Well, we're back because the UFC is back, and we thought since we had the LFA Fighter of the Year for 2020, Mr. Josh Fremd, we figured who better to have come on and make picks with us for this weekend's fight with Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar and the natural born killer Carlos Condit versus the immortal Matt Brown. So here are our picks for this weekend's fights. And if you want to check out the whole interview where you can hear Josh's story about making his way back to the cage after having a crushed orbital bone and being in the hospital at the end of 2019 to coming back and being 2020 Fighter of the Year. And we talk about his upcoming fight that's coming down January 29th live on UFC Fight Pass at LFA 98. If you want to check that out, the link to the full interview is in the description. And hey, like we said, let us know in the comments, who do you got for these fights? Well, enjoy our picks. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Have a good one, guys. Relate with that for our show. First of all, don't feel bad that you busted up your eye, because Corey fucked up my eye when we were kids because the son of a bitch threw a golf ball from the other side of the field and it happened to poke me in the fucking eye, and the doctor straight up told me that it detached my retina so bad that if it would have hit
I thought I killed one of my
if it would have fucked it up, if put it this way, it hit me bad enough that if it would have been like a little bit harder, I might be walking around like Patch Adams in this motherfucker.
It had no bullshit. It had to have been at least an 80-yard throw, and it hit him directly. It hit him directly, like in between.
It hit me dead square in the eye, dude. Like right in the eyeball. It wasn't even like the orbital. It hit me right in the fucking.
Oh my god!
I thought I killed
him. And find out, Brett Favre.
Right, dude. That was worse than any punch I ever took in a boxing ring. Any fucking armbar, choke. Fuck that.
I could imagine.
Dog.
Man, a golf ball.
I will gladly redo that and not do it again. But last but not least, we got a pretty big fight as UFC's coming back to the game this Saturday. You've got in the event, you've got Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, and then you've also got the immortal Matt Brown versus Carlos Condit. How do you see those fights playing out?
Oh, so I'm a huge Max Bless Holloway fan. I love the guy. I love everything he stands for. This is a tough one, because Calvin Kattar's on a roll and his boxing is noise. So it's going to be so interesting. I want Max to win, but obviously, being a realist, you could see how, Kattar could win. We'll see how Max comes back from losing, both those title shots, which, arguably could have went either way,
The second one especially.
Yeah, dude.
That's the first one I could maybe I could see you more, but the second one I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. So that one's, it's a toss up. I hope he comes out. I don't want, like it happens with everyone. You don't want to see your idols go out the way they do. You want them to like bow out gracefully, but being a competitor, it's hard to say when it's done. But as far as Matt Brown and Carlos Condit, man, that's an amazing fight. I wish we would have got a couple years ago,
Right.
And I'm gonna go with the natural born killer. Like you got to. Like I'm a huge Matt Brown fan. I think he's tough. I think he's durable. He's a son of a bitch. But the natural born killer. He's long, lanky like me. Like let's go for the skinny guy.
So let me get this straight. So you've got the natural born killer Carlos Condit, and you've got, who'd you pick on the other fight?
Holloway.
Okay, so Holloway and Matt Brown. I like it. Corey, who are you rolling with?
All right, so
to kind of because we're at the end.
To kind of coattail off what you were saying, I really kind of picture this Holloway matchup almost identical, but a 45 version of him versus Poirier. I feel like Kattar doesn't quite have the same amount of power that Dustin has. So, and I think that was the huge difference, was the ability for Dustin to land the power shots and kind of stunt the momentum of Holloway. Every time he would try to get anything going, he would just get 1 or 2 power shots landed, a 1-2 hard. And it stopped it all, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if Kattar's going to be able to do that. I completely agree with you on the clean boxing, but I think the size difference between the two guys is pretty drastic. I think the reason why Poirier was able to do that is because of the size. My biggest concern was also, like you were saying, how is he going to come back from the title fight? Is he, in all the media and stuff that I've seen kind of coming up to this, he keeps talking about how he should be fighting Volkanovski again. This should have been Volkanovski a third time. I won the second one. I'm the rightful champ.
So
I agree with
might be overlooking him.
My exact concern. I completely agree with him. I would have loved to see the third go around. I think he won the second one. I think he is the uncrowned champ. But if you're not taking Kattar serious, man, he is not the person you want to mess around with. Not at all.
You don't want to overlook him.
So that being said, I still think Holloway takes it. I do. I think the combos kind of end up being a little bit too much, especially if Kattar's not able to get started like he's kind of shown in other fights. He kind of takes till about the midway of the second round to kind of get going. It's a real interesting fight, though. I love the matchup. I love the fact it's on ABC, so it's going to get a lot more eyes even than normal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
It's an awesome matchup. It's an awesome matchup. But as for the two vets in the game, I think Matt Brown's going to take him against the cage and land them bows, man. I think he's going to pressure him. Yep, that Matt Brown over the top, just and I hate to see Condit go down like that, but that's how I see it going.
I got Matt Brown and Holloway on this one.
Yeah, I think that Carlos looked really good in his last fight, but I think that was because Court McGee wasn't the same Court. I think that was more the issue there. So that being said, I go Matt Brown.
All right. So for me, man, I'm a little partial to Holloway, man. I got to kick it with him a little bit here in Detroit when they had the UFC here, and he couldn't have been cooler.
Does he live up to the expectations?
He was as cool as you could have thought he would be. He was super chill. He wasn't real cocky. He wasn't like a real asshole. Like, you know, like some of those guys, man, like you get it in any sport. I've had it happen in wrestling and I've had it happen in MMA. Some guys are super cool about it and some guys are like, oh, well, I don't want to give you no time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like it kind of goes. But when I met the guy, he was everything you could have wanted to see. For me, I completely agree with what you said, Corey. In the first fight, I had no problem with Volkanovski getting the win in it. The second fight, though, I really kind of feel like the only reason why Holloway didn't get that was because of the championship advantage, which by Volkanovski winning the first fight, you know, he earned that championship advantage. But I want to see him run it back the third fight. But if he can come in here and get a dub over somebody like Calvin Kattar, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to argue.
Well, and another thing, not to interrupt you, but one thing I did forget to mention in that point was the fact that you kind of brought up, you know, you hate to see your idols kind of go down in a blaze of glory, essentially. Yeah. People forget how young Max Holloway still is, man. He's 29 years old. Calvin Kattar's the older guy in this. I mean, he might be the new shiny piece in the UFC
on the block, but he ain't the younger of the two.
But he's not the younger one. I mean, Max has got some miles on him, but that Calvin Kattar's been around the block too. So I
hear that.
Max has took a little bit of time off, and I love the matchup. Sorry to interrupt, Kyle. Go on.
To get my picks in real quick, like I said, for me, I think the experience is going to be the difference in this one. I think Holloway has something to prove. I feel like he feels like he's been a little bit slighted, and I feel like a fighter who doesn't have a grudge but feels like he has something to prove is a dangerous motherfucker. So for me, in the main event, I'm going with Holloway. As far as the co-main event, like you said, Mr. Fremd, I'm a big fan of the natural born killer, Carlos Condit. I've been watching him since his WEC days. That being said, I am a big fan of Matt Brown too, so I'm really liking this fight. But if I gotta pick one, Matt will always have the heart of a warrior, the heart of a lion, all that good stuff. But I feel like Carlos Condit is going to be coming out with that dub and be getting him another body. as the natural born killer.
Yeah.
Before we let you get out of here, man, any last words for your opponent and anybody who's new to Josh Fremd and what they can expect come January 29th live on UFC Fight?
Yeah, I got nothing to say to my opponent. I hope you don't have COVID. Please show up. Let's get it on. You guys go follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm just gonna bring the fight. Like I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna try and perform the best of my abilities. I practice every day. I train every day. I've given up and sacrificed so much for this. So I hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to show you at the end of the month.
I think that pretty much puts a bow on it, Corey. And like we told you before, if you haven't done so already, make sure you smash that subscribe button as we're headed down to Dallas. Like I said, man, you don't know what the fuck we're going to be running into. As I hear, there's a Murder Hawk monster going to be at the show on Thursday, as Lance Archer from AEW is going to be there at the show Thursday, as well as past guests of the show, El Rudo de los Chicos, Sam Adonis, and you've got Garrison Creed, who you just saw here last week. So, like I said, make sure you check it out. We're doing throwing axes and Top Golf. I can't golf for shit, but until next time and in the in-between time, be cool. Peace.